Welcome back, everyone. Knowing how important education is, our next guest works so hard to ensure that every child has access to it. We are so happy to welcome back Redefine Ed Atlanta Vice President and Chief of Staff Angura Susi and Vice President of Impact and External Relations Ada Pittman Delancey. I was right the first time. Thank you both so much for being with us. We so appreciate it.
Thanks.
And welcome back to our viewers who maybe have not heard about who Redefine Ed is. You came on several months ago. Tell us about the great work that you're doing in our community.
Sure. Well, Redefine Ed is a education nonprofit here in Atlanta, and our mission is to ensure that every student in every community can receive a great public K-12 education.
Okay, and now across the metro Atlanta area, this is the start of school. Mostly for most classes, it's been about a month in. Why is now the most important time?
Yeah, well, you've got parents. This is the start of the school year. It's a chance for them to do the work of helping their kids progress to that next grade level. And really it's about, from that next grade level, how do we get all of our students graduating from high school with the skills and knowledge to be college or career ready?
Right.
Yeah. But if you're not a parent and you don't have school-age children, it's also a really good time to get involved. And it's the top of the school year is a really good time to get involved, especially with the release of the recent Georgia Milestones results.
Okay, and tell me about those. I know my children were products of Atlanta Public Schools, and those milestones, it's a big deal at the end of the school year for anyone who's not familiar. Tell us more about those.
Yeah, so the Georgia Milestones, they're an annual assessment in the state of Georgia, and all students in all public schools across Georgia take these milestones. The milestones are measuring learning in a couple subjects, so English language arts, math, science, and social studies based on our state standards.
Right.
And then we can collectively use the information from milestones to understand how our public schools are serving our students.
Yes, and anything that you found out in recent years, especially given the pandemic, about how those scores are coming out?
Yeah, so I think if you looked at what's happening with milestones, it really is matching what you've probably read about in the national news as well. I think the pandemic really exacerbated a lot of the learning loss that we've seen, and especially in some of our most underserved communities, it was probably even greater. We saw that in math and reading. I think a little more in math, actually.
Yeah.
But at the top of the year, again, this is also gives us an opportunity as public education cheerleaders to inform the broader community so that they can figure out ways to get involved in supporting K-12 education for every student in every community.
Sure, and as you mentioned, this isn't just for parents or grandparents. This is for anyone who cares about seeing, our next generation grow and succeed, especially, as we mentioned, given, the setbacks of the last 2 years. So what would you say to people to encourage them to check out your organization, get involved in any way they can?
Well, I would say that recently this year, we actually made efforts to make sure we were providing resources. So if you visit us at redefineedatlanta.org/back-to-school, we have resources there to support your learning and growing in your learning. We want you to take 3 actions. We want you to learn more, take the pledge. We want you to just make sure that you're growing in your awareness and sharing those resources. And then also in November, there's an upcoming election, and the state superintendent is on the ballot. So we want you to go ahead and learn more about voting for public education.
Good. Anything else you want our viewers to learn? Again, it's so critical that, we do get involved in every way that we can and give back.
Yeah. I would say that knowing your schools, knowing the places that you see kids coming from when they're right up the street from you is one of the ways you can do that. And we have a resource called the Atlanta School Data Project. Gira, would you like to talk a bit about the Atlanta School Data Project?
Yeah, so the Atlanta School Data Project, it's something we're working on building out. And the goal of this project is to take a lot of public data about schools that is oftentimes not the most easily accessible for parents and community members who aren't in schools every single day, and to make that user-friendly and easily accessible. So we're really excited about it. I think about myself. I'm a parent, I'm a former educator, and although the data comes naturally to me as we work with parents and community members, like really passionate advocates, we know that they're not in schools every day. So it's not
Exactly.
always the most easily accessible. So we really want to change that.
Right, right. And, you know, as parents, I think you can appreciate this. We are inundated with so much information about our kids' just daily lives that if you could make any kind of information just a little more user-friendly to us, that's incredible. So thank you so much for the great work you're doing. Do me one last favor and make sure you say the website again so everyone can go to learn more.
Awesome. Yeah, it's redefinEDatlanta.org/back to school. But if you hit our landing page, you'll find a link to it right on the main page.
Well, I appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you so much for coming back, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you to redefinED Atlanta for sponsoring that segment. Well, coming up